Yo, what up? It's your boy, Mr. E, and today we're going to take a look at multiplying with the standard algorithm. Now, when you see the word algorithm, you might think, what does algorithm even mean? When I think of the word algorithm, I think of like an assembly line where they try to create cars or other types of mechanics, and it's where every part has a piece that it has to do, and if it does it right, the end result will look good. So when you think of standard algorithm, just think of it as an assembly line. So let's get into what we're doing today in our video. So we've got a couple steps, and these steps are really important for us to remember when we are trying to multiply with the standard algorithm. So we have an equation here. This equation says 364 times 15 equals E. These numbers and letters actually have some very important names. These two on the side are called factors, and when we multiply factors together, we get a product. And a product is the answer to a multiplication problem. So let's take a look at the steps that we're going to do to solve a tough equation like this. So step one, stack numbers vertically. The number with the most digits will go on top. So we're going to put 364 on the top and 15 on the bottom. If they have the same amount of digits, usually it's a rule of thumb to put the number that has the greater value on the top. But honestly, it doesn't really matter. You can do it either way. This is just an easier way to do it. Step number two, start with the ones place. So we're going to highlight the ones place, and that's the 5 and 15. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw arrows, and then we're going to start multiplying. With these arrows, you're going to go from the ones place to the ones place, the ones place to the tens, and the ones place to the hundreds. It's really important that you do it in that order and that you're not just trying to make things up, okay? Now we're going to multiply. So we'll start with the ones place to the ones place. 5 times 4 will give us 20. So we'll put the 0 underneath and we'll carry the 2 over for our next set of multiplication. Then we'll look at 5 times 6. That would get us 30, but we're going to add that 2 that we carried over to give us 32. And we'll carry the 3 over to the next multiplication. The last step will be 5 times 3, which gives us 15, plus 3 will give us 18. And since we don't have any more multiplying to do, we can just write 18 underneath. Okay. Now we're moving on to probably the most important step when we're doing standard algorithm, and that is to add a placeholder 0. Now, something that I always tell my students is that most students are going to forget this, but not you guys because you're high quality students. High quality students always remember the placeholder 0. Low quality students forget the placeholder 0. So now that we've added that placeholder 0, we're going to erase any previous marks. When we erase those marks, we're ready to get on to our next step, which is to look at the tens place. So we'll highlight the tens place. Now we're going to do the same step where we're going to draw some arrows and multiply. Now this one, we want to make sure the tens goes to the ones, then tens to tens, then tens to the hundreds place. It's really important we keep that order in line. Now that we've drawn our arrows, we can go ahead and start multiplying. This one's pretty easy because we're multiplying by 1, so really we can just copy 364 in the correct places underneath. Now that we've multiplied, of course, number 8 wants to come in on a different way, always trying to be unique. Now we're going to add these two numbers together, okay? And when we add these, it's just simple addition. 0 plus 0 gives us 0, 2 plus 4 is 6, 8 plus 6 is 14, carry the 1, 1 plus 1 plus 3 would give us 5. So what that gives us an answer of is 5,460. So E equals 5,460. So if you follow the steps, this can actually be very, very easy. Seems like there's a lot of steps, but as we get some more practice, this will become a lot easier. So let's move on to some practice problems. We'll start with something simple to get our brain warmed up. So we've got the bigger number, or the number with the most digits on the top, 46. And then we've got the smaller number on the bottom. So we're going to multiply these two numbers. So I'm looking at the ones place, and I'm going to draw arrows to these numbers, okay? So 7 times 6, that would give me 42. And then 7 times 4 would give me 28, plus 4 would give me 32. Now, something that I notice is that we only have a ones place, so we don't have a chance to move on to the tens place. So our answer would be 322. Okay, so R would equal 322. Pretty easy. Let's move on to a little bit of a harder problem. T equals 83 in parentheses 25. Remember, if a number is right next to a parentheses, that means we're going to multiply. So both of these numbers have the same amount of digits, so it doesn't really matter which one goes on top, but I like to put the number that has the higher value on the top. So we've got 85 or 83 times 25. We start by taking a look at the ones place, and that's going to be over here at the 5, and we're going to draw arrows, okay? And these arrows are really important to remember the order in which you're going to be multiplying. So 5 times 3 would give us 15. 5 times 8 would give us 40, plus 1 would give us 41. Now again, most students are going to forget this, but not high quality Comstock students. We're going to add that placeholder 0. Now you might be wondering yourself, Mr. E, why do I have to add that placeholder 0? Is it just because you tell us that we have to do this and we have to listen to you? Absolutely not. The reason we're adding that placeholder 0 is because we're moving on to the tens place. And if we multiplied by something in the tens place, there wouldn't be anything in that ones place we could put. So that's why we put that 0 there. If we forget to put it there, then it's like we're multiplying in the ones place again. So we have gone ahead and added our placeholder 0. Next step is to erase any of those stray marks that might get in your way, okay? And this just helps me stay organized, okay? Some teachers might not say that you have to do this, but I think it's something that's really important to do. And we kind of erase a little bit of that 3. So 2 times 3 would give us 6. And then 2 times 8 would give us 16. We're going to add these two numbers together. 5, 7, 10, carry the 1, 2. So T equals 2,075. Pretty easy, right? Once you get a hang of it and once you start practicing this a lot, this is going to become a lot easier for us, okay? All right, this last one might be a little bit of a doozy, but I believe we can do this, okay? So the next one, we have this weird circle. Do you remember what that weird dot is in the middle? That's multiplication as well. Just a reminder, there's lots of different ways we can write multiplication, and it's important to remember all of them, okay? So we've got 960 times 44. You know what, I'm gonna be fancy. We're gonna change the color to my favorite color, which is green. I'm working on my wife's fancy iPad, and I'm trying some new things, so sorry if this doesn't come out as the way it usually does. So we've got 960, ooh, green, I like that green, okay, times 44. Okay, really, really big numbers, but we can do this if we follow that standard algorithm, okay? So 4 times 0, getting a little ahead of myself. We need to make sure that we draw those arrows. Need to work on my arrow drawing skills. 4 times 0, that would get us 0. 4 times 6, that would get us 24. And then 4 times 9, that would give me 36. Plus 2 would give me 38. Now, if you're struggling with remembering your facts right off the top of your head, remember in a previous video we went over how to make a multiplication chart. Use that multiplication chart while you're doing this. When you're doing the little multiplication in between, such a good idea to use that, okay? All right, most students are gonna forget this, but not Comstock students because they're high quality. What are we gonna put in there? That placeholder 0, okay? So don't forget that placeholder 0. And then it's good to erase any stray marks so that you don't have any confusion as you're moving on to your next step, okay? So we've gotten those stray marks away. Something I'm noticing now as we move to the tens place, we're actually multiplying by 4 again, okay? So since we're multiplying by 4 again, really we can just kind of copy the numbers we had before, because 4 times 0, that would give us 0. 4 times 6, that would give us 24, carry the 2. And 4 times 9 would give us 36. Plus 2 would give us 38. So notice that these two numbers were the same. We just had a placeholder 0 that we added to make it a little different since we're multiplying by the tens place now. 0 plus 0 equals 0. 4 plus 0 equals 4. 8 plus 4 would give us 12. 1 plus 3 plus 8, that would get us 12 again. And then 1 plus 3 would get us 4. So W equals 42,240 equals W. And remember that the variable and the equation, they can be on different sides of an equation. It's just like a seesaw. So as long as it's balanced, we're good to go. So, standard algorithm can be a little bit tough. And sometimes, as you're practicing standard algorithm, you might think, oh, there's other ways that I can do that are much easier and I can figure it out better. But I promise, as you're making that transition into middle school, standard algorithm is going to be the way that helps you do this the quickest. Okay. And to be honest with you, I just feel like there's no other way that could beat standard algorithm. All right, you guys, you may have heard I have made my own YouTube channel. It is Mystery 6. I would love if you went and checked it out. Like, comment, subscribe, do the typical YouTube thing. So come check me out, and we're going to have a lot of fun over there. And yeah, that's it for the video. We love you guys. We miss you, and we'll see you guys later. Bye. Can the box method prove that it is a superior way to multiply and beat the standard algorithm? Find out next time.